Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. We're going to be discussing how to meet your CMMC and NIST 800-171 physical protection requirements. So let's get started. So the physical protection domain has 6 controls, and obviously they're all around physical protection. You know, we're going to be talking about locks, keys, visitor access, things like that. So to get started, the first requirement is NIST 3.10.1 or CMMC PE.1.131. So anyone with the CMMC level 1 or higher has to meet this requirement. So what does it say? It says limit physical access to organizational information systems, equipment, and the respective operating environments to authorized individuals. So the way you can start meeting this control is by first identifying who's authorized to access your physical facility. So the way you can do that is simply create a spreadsheet, create a column in there of your personnel, so your employees and contractors. Create another column to say if they're authorized to access your facility or not. If you have multiple facilities, create a column that's, specifies which facility they're authorized to access. So that way, now you know who's supposed to be accessing your office or not. The next thing you need to do is make sure that you have locks in place. Your windows are all locked, doors are all locked. That's how you're going to limit physical access to your facility. Also limiting access to equipment like your server room. To do that, you want to make sure like your wiring closets, server rooms, things like that are all locked as well. So yeah, just to meet this requirement, essentially you're just saying who's authorized to access your facility. Then you have physical controls, locks in place to make sure that only those folks are authorized or are capable of getting in. So the next control is 3.10.3. or CMMC PE.1.132. So if you're level 1 or higher, you have to meet this requirement. It says escort visitors and monitor visitor activity. So how do you meet this requirement? You need to have a visitor sign-in sheet. So whenever someone's invited to your office or manufacturing plant, they use this sign-in sheet to say, to document their name, the organization they came from, their date and time of entry, date and time of exit, and who their assigned escort is. So, you need a sign-in sheet. Then you need to give this visitor a badge that says like visitor on it. So that way everybody else at your office knows that this person is a visitor and they need to be accompanied while they're in the facility. The next thing you need to do is, don't allow the visitor to go all over your office unattended or unaccompanied. So make sure that whoever signs them in is also accompanying them at the facility. So one thing you want to do here is mark certain areas of your facility with like a sign that says authorized personnel only. That way everybody knows that only employees are supposed to be there, or escorted or accompanied visitors are supposed to be there. And then also visitors know that, if an area doesn't have that sign, like the bathroom, for example, they don't have to be accompanied. So yeah, make sure you put up signs like that around your office. So moving on to the next requirement. CMMC PE.1.133. So this applies to everyone with a level 1 or higher requirement. And then NIST 3.10.4. So it says maintain audit logs of physical access. So anytime somebody accesses your facility, that access needs to be logged. Same thing with that exit. So one way you can accomplish this is having a sign-in sheet. So whenever employees come to the office, they sign in. And then when they leave, they sign out. This is pretty tedious, and a lot of times it's inconvenient. So a lot of employees, most likely, they won't, be too honest about, when they entered and exit, especially throughout the day. So another method to meet this requirement is to have a key card access system. So you give all the employees who need access to the facility, you give them a key card. So whenever they sign in or whenever they try to try to access the facility, they'll use the key card, and it will log their access. So it'll say like, John Doe accessed the facility at this date at this time. So, that's a way to maintain audit logs of physical access. Then these logs, you want to keep them for, however long you specify, like, 3 months is fine, or 6 months or whatever, however you specify, but you want to keep those logs on hand in case there is an incident, so you can look at these as well. All right, moving on to the next control. So it's NIST 3.10.5 or CMMC PE.1.134. So again, if you're CMMC level 1 or higher, you're going to need to meet this requirement. It says control and manage physical access devices. So to meet this requirement, the first thing you need to do is document all of your keys and like key cards and PIN codes used to access your facility. First, you want to document those, then document who they've been assigned to and on which date they were assigned to that person, and then also make sure you document when you received that physical access device, like a key card, back from them, if they were terminated. So that's the first step, is documenting all physical access devices, keys, key cards. The next step is to only give those physical access devices to individuals who actually need to access your facility on a regular basis. So people who come into the office every day, yes, give them like a key card to get in. But somebody who's a remote employee who maybe only comes in once a week or like once a month, don't give them a physical access device. Or an employee that, you might have multiple facilities. So if they don't need to access a certain facility, don't give them access to that facility. And then anytime an employee is terminated, make sure you collect their physical access device. So that's how you can meet this requirement. All right, moving on to the next one. NIST 3.10.2 or CMMC PE.2.135. So if you have a level 2 or higher requirement, you're going to need to meet this control. It says protect and monitor the physical facility and support infrastructure for organizational systems. So what you want to do here is, again, make sure that all doors and windows to your facility are locked. And then what you want to do is have security cameras in place to be able to monitor the physical facility. So locks and cameras. That's how you meet this requirement. And you want to make sure, like when it says support infrastructure, what that refers to, that's like wiring closet, your server room, power controls for your office or your building. You want to make sure that those are all in a secure location, so it's locked away. Not anyone can access it. You also want to make sure that if you do have a server room or you have like cables running through your office, those are all nicely managed and tucked away so nobody accidentally trips over them and unplugs something. So that's how you meet this requirement. So moving on to the next and last requirement, 3.10.6 or CMMC PE.3.136. So if you're level 3 or higher, you need to meet this requirement. It says enforce safeguarding measures for controlled unclassified information at alternate work sites. So alternate work sites are like an employee's home or like a client site. So you want to just make sure that whenever you give these people laptops, like remote employees, that the laptop has the same security requirements as your on-premise devices, so making sure that, there's encryption in place, that they're receiving their software updates, that they have antivirus, that they have their like DZStig settings in place, for example. So just making sure that they're able to protect CUI the same way you're able to protect CUI at your physical facility. So a couple other things to consider here is like employees, they sometimes like to print out documents. They might print out CUI at home. You could create a policy that forbids this. To enforce that policy, you could even disable their capability to print. So there are a lot of different ways to meet this control, but the main thing is making sure that their devices are encrypted. Well, that concludes the video for the physical protection domain. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. And we'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to our channel, because we're going to be having more great content like this coming out. And like the video so that the YouTube algorithm boosts us a bit. And turn on notifications. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and we'll try to get to you. All right, we appreciate your time today and hope to see you in another video. Thank you.